Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. We are at the Lee Middle and High School library. This is a virtual meeting room for Governor Baker's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law C-30A, Section 20. This meeting will take place virtually via Zoom for those committee members and attendees choosing to access in that manner. The rest of the general public is invited to attend in person. I am calling this meeting to order pursuant to Mass General Law C-30A, Section 20. I am hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of the meeting. Next up is our Pledge of Allegiance, and this evening we are being led by Lee Elementary School students, Amaya Barato and Juliana Teixeira. Ladies. Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. They quickly dug out. The mission statement of Lee Public Schools is to ensure students have the opportunities to develop the social, civil, and critical thinking skills to thrive in an ever-changing world. Brenda, can I trouble you for a roll call, please?
Mr. Robin.
Here.
Mrs. Dennis, not present. Mrs. Kushert.
Here.
Ms. Larman.
Here.
Mr. Nichols.
Here,
Ms. Strickler.
Here.
Mrs. Wadsworth, not present.
Okay. Next up, we have the approval of our April 4th, 2023 Lee School Committee meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the April 4th, 2023 Lee School Committee meeting minutes.
I will second.
Any discussion? Brenda, can you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Robin.
Yes.
Mrs. Kushert.
Yes.
Ms. Larman.
Yes.
Mr. Nichols.
abstain.
Ms. Strickler.
Yes.
It's you.
Yes, public input. Members of the public are invited to address the committee at this time. Comments limited to 3 minutes. Issues raised will normally be referred to the administration or a subcommittee of the school committee. Madam Chair, there is none.
All right. Moving right along. Our next thing up is reports. So I have two things to talk about as the chairperson. The first thing is, and she's not here, which I tried to convince her to come when we did our walk to school. Andrea Wadsworth is not running for re-election for her school committee seat. But I wanted to publicly thank her for all of her years of service. She's been doing this for a very long time. And she has put a lot of time in, not just to this committee, but she's also done a lot for MASC and for Division 6. So I'm sorry that she's not here tonight for us to thank her, but she has been a great asset to our school committee. So I wanted to thank her for that. The other person I wanted to thank, who's also not here this evening, but has put in his resignation as of the end of this month, is Randy Kinnis. So Randy is not going to see out the end of his term, but he is going to stay with us until the end of May. So in June, we will need to post and have somebody fill in for the rest of his term. So Randy is also not here this evening for us to thank, but thank you, Randy, for your time and commitment to our committee and subcommittees. So that's all I have to report for this evening. And next up, we have our superintendent's report, which I am also doing. I am running a lot of stuff this evening. So give me 2 seconds to get that up and running.
Do you want the student before superintendent?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's have this. Yeah, so then you can go home. Because I bet you'd like to go home, wouldn't you? You don't have to stay after.
But
this
you're
meeting.
also welcome to stay.
So Sophia Hudson, Sophia is going to step in as our student representative. So what have you got for us?
I'm Sophia. As she mentioned, I'm stepping in for Jacob today. Over April break, 10 students and 2 teachers visited Florence and Rome in Italy for the. This was the first international trip that we have had since before COVID. College physics and chemistry classes visited BCC labs. These classes are dual enrollment and grant students who take these classes BCC credit. This is a great way for students who are interested in STEM to see what a college level lab would look like. This past week and this current week, students in grades 10 to 12 who are taking AP courses or opted to take these exams are taking AP exams to get their college credit. A high enough score on these tests can exempt you from numerous college courses, ultimately saving you money. Some exams that LMHS offers are English, statistics, chemistry, calculus, and US history. This past Saturday, the National Honor Society hosted a community lunch at the LMHS cafeteria, where members in grades 10 to 12 volunteered to serve, set up, and clean up. One requirement for NHS is that every senior must do a big community service project in order to receive recognition at graduation. Members can partner up or do a solo project to help make an impact on their community. Some projects include clearing an old cross-country trail, hand building a wooden podium for public speaking practice, constructing a woodshed for teachers or a sports coach, and cleaning up garbage, and so much more. Student athletes and roughly 15 student volunteers will be attending the Special Olympics, which will be held at the Monument High School track on Wednesday, May 10th. Some events in this will include the long toss and the 100, 200, and 400 meter dash. The senior trip is upcoming on Thursday, May 25th, where they will be heading to Boston. Some of their stops include the Boston Aquarium, escape rooms, duckboat rides, axe throwing, and an hour free time to explore and shop in Boston. On Friday, May 26th is the prom. It is going to be at 6 p.m. at the Berkshire Hills Country Club. Dinner will be included, and students in grades 11 and 12 are able to go, and 10th graders are also allowed if they are invited. This provides a fun end of the year get together for all students in attendance. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Sophia?
I'm just picturing seniors with axe throwing.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, there's gonna be a big liability, like sign off for that, right? Greg's no comment. Greg says no comment. Greg says no comment. Thank you so much.
Thank
You
you.
are allowed to leave now. You don't have to stay for the whole meeting. Thank you for stepping in and being like a pinch hitter. We really
Yes.
appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
All right, now I'm doing the superintendent's presentation. Look at that, did it. All right. I got it up there. Oh, there we go. So this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. So we would like to, the school committee, and I think all of the administrators in the building would like to thank all of our teachers and teaching staff for everything that you do for the students within our buildings. We are very, very, very lucky to have you all. So thank you so much for everything that you do for our kiddos. Here's our enrollment update. As of May 1st, we currently have 640 kiddos in our district. We've got 150 choice students, and we have 45 kiddos that are tuitioned in. Of course, we would like our numbers to be better, but it is what it is. So hopefully next year we'll be looking better. MCAS. So math at the high school, and I'm sure we'll hear about this from Greg and Tim, but math is at the high school is next week. Right? Is next week the 16th? No.
Yeah, it
Is
is.
it next week?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And then science, technology, and engineering at the high schools in June, and at LES, math is finishing next week. So are you doing some of it this week? Yes?
For math?
Yeah.
No, we did science this week.
Oh,
math is
okay.
Next week.
One of the buildings I was in today was doing math in the elementary building. Okay. And just a reminder to everybody here and our couple of people that are attending publicly that our annual town meeting, which we'll be looking at our school budget, is this Thursday in the Z. at 7 o'clock. So anybody that can come and support our school budget, that would be fabulous. So please come on down. Uh-oh, I knew you were gonna do this. Just give me 2 seconds to admit somebody and then, oh, Ashley, come on now. Okay. Can you see that? Let me get that out of your way. Oh, I went too far. Sorry, Jess.
No, you're fine.
Okay,
Are those the slides?
are these you?
It is.
Yes,
Those are the old ones. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
There
This
were
is
a
what he
couple new
gave me.
ones, yeah.
This is what he gave me, Jess. I
What
apologize.
is that?
So we are very fortunate to have Jess Maloney here this evening to give us some information about our coordinated family and community engagement from Southern Berkshire Kids.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go off these slides. You just tell us what you would like us to know.
So thanks for just letting me join you guys, and I wanted to just give a brief description of this grant, the CFCE grant, and give you an update on the programs. So this grant, CFCE, I go by, it's a mouthful, CFCE, so I go by South Berkshire Kids. The logo and the name was there before I came on board about 12 years ago, so I've just gone with it. And so this grant is by EEC, Department of Early Education and Care, and it's posted every year. So I write it and submit it. It takes me about a month to write it. It's about 100-page document. And it's level funded this year at a little below 135,000. And so that funding provides my full-time position as well as 4 part-time educators. And so kind of the overall general goal of this grant, it's a really fun grant, is providing support for parents, families to be their child's first teacher and also kindergarten readiness. So we focus on literacy, we focus on child development. And so one of my slides that I had up was my calendar. So I put out a calendar every month, and we do about 8 to 10 programs a week. And they vary from, so our target audience is families with young children, birth to 6. And all of our programs are free and open to the community. And so what does that look like? So specifically in Lee, I host a babies and book group on Mondays. Every Monday at 10:30, the Lee Library has wonderful space for us. And this week I had 11 babies. It's the best way to start a week with a bunch of babies. And we meet for about an hour, and I have parents, I have moms, dads, nannies, a lot of grandparents. We're seeing a lot of grandparents bringing kids to our groups. And so we meet, we sing, we do lap songs, and we play, but it's also a support group. So these adults need to get out of the house, and this group is it's wonderful. So Mondays is babies, and then Thursday we do a brain builders group, which is a little bit older group, 3 and 4-year-olds, where they meet. We do 2-month sessions, so they meet for 8 to 9 weeks with the same group, and it's 3 and 4-year-olds. It's a little bit more structured, so getting ready for preschool, getting ready for kindergarten, learning how to sit for a story, just a lot of fun. So that's on Thursdays. And in June, we're going to start a play group at the athletic field. So that'll be every Wednesday, runs through the summer. We started that when during COVID, when all the libraries shut down, we started to utilize a lot more playgrounds. So we do Lee is at the Lee Athletic Field, and that's Wednesdays from 10 to 11. And we do outdoor play, group play. We will have crafts and a blanket with books. There's always a literacy component to our programs. We do Tyringham on Fridays. That's an outdoor group. So yeah, so we do about 8 to 10. We also do parent workshops. We're also a resource for parents. I have a website, southberkshirekids.org.
That was gonna be my next question, so that you just
So that's
answered it.
kind of our database
Yeah.
of information. We rebuilt, I rebuilt the whole website during the pandemic, because that's where families were going for information, parenting information, community resources. We just throw it all on there. And we're also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the social media things. I send out a weekly email to families. I have a list of 700 families and community members that get a weekly email. And numbers wise, we see about, depends on the week, about 50 to about 75 families a week that go through our programming. And we cover 12 towns. So we are in every free space that we can, that is family friendly and accessible, which is mostly libraries. So we're in New Marlboro Library, Sheffield Library, Monterey, Lee, Lenox, Richmond. So we have lots of partnerships with our libraries and community centers. Lenox Community Center, we have a play group on Wednesdays. And town halls, we utilize the Otis Town Hall. So we try and get out there to where the families are. I think what else? Anybody have any questions on the programming?
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Brenda, did you get the website? Yes, okay, perfect. So the website will be in the meeting minutes if anybody needs to get that as well. So
Okay,
that's
cool.
fantastic. So thank you. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry that the slides weren't the right.
That's all
right. Those are the only two slides that were in here, so I'm.
Yeah, that was a group that we partnered with.
The next one is also something about a story walk, which was, I think,
Yep, we do
I
story
just-
walk.
I assumed this was maybe coming up, but I think this was probably.
That was, yeah,
Yeah,
so I was
yeah.
50% a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and we do story walks in downtown Lee during the winter months. And then in the summer, we partner with the Mount and the Sheffield Library. We have story walks. And then we partnered with the Boston Children's Museum with a social emotional curriculum, which was a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming. You don't have to stay either if you don't want. All right, next up, we have principals and directors reports. So first, we have Tim Merton from Lee Elementary School.
Hello. ELA MCAS assessments were completed a few weeks ago for grades 3 to 6. Fifth grade science, tech, and engineering MCAS assessments were completed today. And next week we have math assessments for grades 3 to 6. Quarter 4 progress reports were sent to families last Friday. Spring concerts are coming up next week on the 16th and the 18th. And our last walk to school took place last week. It was well represented by students, school committee members, former teachers, current teachers and pairs, all wishing Kathy DeVarens well as she looks to retire at the end of the school year. Now, she will be dearly missed, that's for sure. Summer program planning is taking shape. We will be using ASOS grant funds again to fund that program, and we're working closely with Jen Norton with her program to kind of overlap the two, just like we did last year, which was pretty successful. Flying Cloud was in residence at LES from April 10th to the 14th to run a week-long hands-on science, tech, and engineering unit, which culminated into some really cool student presentations for students in grades K to 6. And I got to play science teacher for a little while. So it was a great day for me. And then LES is set to receive, and I'm proud of this, LES is set to receive the Outstanding Service from a Community Partner Award from the College Internship Program
Oh, nice.
at the convocation later this month. So I'm proud of that partnership, what it means for the students of that program, but also the students at LES. Really proud of that. And that's what I have this month.
That's fantastic. Does anybody have any questions for Tim? All right, next up, we have Greg Briganti from Leland Middle High School.
All right, I'll go quick because Sophia covered a lot of my one quick correction to the MCAS, middle school math MCAS is actually this week, Thursday and Friday.
Okay,
High school is next week, as well as the start of middle school, grade 8 math next Friday and the following Monday. Thursday. And then of course, high school biology MCAS in early June. Ooh, and then we'll be done. Speaking of being done, the other things I want to mention are just the end of the year activities, because Most of them actually occur before our next meeting of the school committee. So class of 2023 information, their last day of classes for seniors in good standing will be Wednesday, May 24th. Okay, Thursday, as Sophia mentioned, is their class trip to Boston. And prom is Friday, the 26th, as you mentioned as well. Class night will be Thursday, June 1st at 6:30 in the Z. We are bringing back a small thing to class night that we haven't done for quite some time, and that is the actual junior book awards. To try to raise that profile a little bit. So junior book awards will also be presented along with all of the senior awards at class night on June 1st. Graduation is then Saturday, June 3rd at 1:30 at Tanglewood. So we are looking forward to that at the Tanglewood stage, Saturday, June 3rd at 1:30. Both class night and graduation are open to anybody who would like to come. The 8th grade class trip to Lake Compounce in Connecticut is Wednesday, June 7th. And the 8th grade bridging ceremony will be Wednesday, June 14th at 9:30 in the morning here in the Z. And then lastly, our high school finals will be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, June 12th through 14th, with makeup finals on the morning of Thursday, June 15th. And that's all I have today.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Greg? All right, next up, special education with Jen Norton.
Tim told us a little bit about, the summer programming. He and I have been able to collaborate, and I was able to collaborate with Kate Retzel prior to that because of the grants that he gets. So we're actually able to extend some of the special education programming. And anybody who's coming for tutoring or developmental program or life skills or preschool, they're actually here 4 days a week. Which is great. Usually the tutoring programs used to only be 2 days a week for grade levels. So they're actually here for 3 hours for 4 days a week, which has been a huge increase. And that's only due to that additional programming that we're able to do that. Our teachers have sent out the notices, so we should have a number. I expect will be around 30 to 40 for summer services. And that includes tutoring, substantially separate programs, as well as related services like OT, PT, and speech. And so we will be able to service quite a number of students over the summer, which is always fun. It's a much quieter place in the summer, but it's still fun. And we also have the students that come really enjoy the expressive arts program. So that's what we're working on. TFM will be completed next week, the civil rights portion of the special education. And then we have the English language learner portion that is not due till later in the month. And I'm sure we'll get a report on that early next year. Where we're at. And one other thing, we're going to have about 7 open paraprofessional positions next year. We are hiring. I was able to just hire one this week, but anybody that you know that might be interested, please give them my number and I would be happy to speak to anybody who has questions about those positions.
Does anybody have any questions for Jen? All right. Jordan's at a training this evening, so he's not here. So next up, we have our committees. So we have finance committee. Hold on a second, I gotta share again. I didn't realize how much easier it is when I don't have to do multitask. All right. Okay. So. You want to do it?
Yes, so since Randy's not here, I'll take over for him. We met yesterday quickly by Zoom for the finance subcommittee. And we had our first account that we discussed was the accounts payable in the amount of $229,115.26. And it's all transportation and utilities.
Okay, I will accept a motion for the accounts payable.
I move to accept the warrant for $229,115.26.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Brenda, can you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Abbott,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Ms. Larmen,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Strickler?
Yes.
And the next warrant that we discussed was actually the payroll warrant, which totaled $551,056.79. And then superintendent indicated that this is in line with our current budget, and there's nothing out of the ordinary here.
Okay, I will accept a motion for the payroll.
I'll make a motion to accept the total payroll warrants in the amount of $551,056.79.
Second,
Any discussion? Brenda, can you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Robin?
yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Abstain.
Ms. Strickler?
Abstain.
All right. Next up would be old business, which we don't have any of. And then new business, again, we don't have any new business. Oh,
I have a question based on your report in the beginning, but there was
Yeah.
no time for questions, so I wasn't
okay,
sure.
go ahead.
Because Mr. Kinnis submitted his resignation, could somebody be a write-in
No, because he's
at
not,
next week's?
no, because he's
Okay.
not resigning until May 31st.
So even though a write-in wouldn't,
His
the
resignation,
position wouldn't start until July, right? Could you write in?
no,
They start.
they start as soon as they're elected, the position starts.
Oh,
As soon as
okay.
election is
I
sworn
was
in.
just thinking that would make life so much easier. Nothing against Randy, we want him to
So
stay,
will it
but
work the same way, like when Kirk and I got on board,
Yep.
they'll come, whoever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then have a vote. and-
We'll be all right.
Yeah.
Some will step up. We'll be
Yeah,
okay.
somebody's.
Yeah.
I'm
it just
Not
would
worried
be-
about it one bit.
no.
All right,
Okay, thank you.
no worries. We have no new business. Our next school committee meeting, as Greg mentioned, would be after all of the excitement happens with graduation and prom and all of that kind of stuff is, June 13th. Pardon? Oh, is Siri talking to us, Ginger? All right, next on the agenda is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Any discussion? Brenda, can you roll call us, please?
Mr. Robin?
yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes,
Ms. Strickler?
Yes.
7:27.
We are adjourned at 7:27.